She was 5 feet tall. She limped when she walked. She was 52 years old when they put the rope around her neck. None of that made her less dangerous. In the history of the Holocaust's female perpetrators, Johanna Borman stands apart, not for rank, not for power, but for one specific method of cruelty that survivors could never forget. She didn't just beat the women under her control. She fed them to her dog. She was born in 1893 in East Prussia, a generation older than most of the women who would serve alongside her in the SS. By the time Adolf Hitler rose to power, she was already middle-aged, already invisible, already living the kind of life that left no mark on history. She joined the SS Auxiliary in 1938. She was 45 years old. When asked why, she gave an answer that is more chilling for how ordinary it sounds. The SS paid better than civilian work. That was it. No ideology, no calling, just money. She was assigned first to the kitchen at Lichtenberg, one of the earliest camps the Nazis built, opened in 1933, eventually converted into a women's prison. When those prisoners were transferred to the newly opened Ravensbrück camp in northern Germany, Borman went with them. Ravensbrück was where it started. For Borman and dozens of other female guards, this camp was a school, a place where older, more experienced supervisors like Maria Mandel taught new arrivals exactly how to break a human being, how to beat, how to degrade, how to extract maximum labor from a body that had almost nothing left to give. Borman was a willing student. In March 1942, she was transferred to Auschwitz. By then, Auschwitz had already become the largest killing operation in human history. Trains arrived daily from across occupied Europe. Families were separated on the platform. The weak went left, the strong went right. The weak were dead within hours. Borman was small, quiet-looking, easily overlooked. She had a dog, a large, powerful animal that she brought with her to the camp. She leashed it herself. She controlled it herself. And she chose, deliberately and repeatedly, to use it as a weapon. At her post-war trial, the testimonies came one after another. Witness Vera Fischer described watching Borman direct her dog onto female prisoners who collapsed from exhaustion during work details outside the camp. The animal attacked. The women were taken to the camp hospital. Several died, not from the bites alone, but from the infections that followed because proper medical care was never given. Others, too injured to work, were sent directly to the gas chambers. Witness Helena Kofa testified that Borman was the most hated person in the entire camp. She oversaw the clothing warehouse, and one day she spotted a prisoner taking something, a scrap, a rag, something small and desperate. Borman grabbed the woman by the hair, threw her to the ground, and released the dog. What was left when it was over filled the ground with blood. A doctor arrived. The woman did not move. She was carried to the gas chambers. Another prisoner, Doris Silverberg, testified that she watched Borman approach a woman too ill to reach the work site. The woman had sat down. She was shaking. Borman slapped her across the face so hard that she knocked out 2 teeth, then set the dog on her. That woman was taken to the infirmary. She did not come back. When prosecutors asked Borman directly, "Did you have a dog?" she said, "Yes, I brought him with me." She offered nothing else. As the war turned against Germany, Borman moved through a series of camps, a sub-camp near Auschwitz, a posting at Hindenburg, back to Ravensbrück, and finally, in the last desperate months of the war, to Bergen-Belsen. Belsen by early 1945 was a place beyond description. The camp had been built for 10,000 prisoners. By liberation, it held over 60,000. There was no food. There was no sanitation. There was no medicine. The dead lay where they fell. Disease moved through the barracks like fire. When the British Army arrived on the 15th of April 1945, they found more than 10,000 unburied corpses, 60,000 survivors, many barely alive. Among the SS staff still in the camp was Johanna Borman. She had not run. She had stayed. The British put her to work immediately, forcing her and the other guards to carry the bodies they had created and bury them in mass graves. The footage of SS guards hauling corpses into pits, filmed by British Army cameramen, was shown around the world. The Belsen Trials began in September 1945. Borman stood alongside some of the most notorious figures in the entire camp system: Irma Gries, Joseph Kramer, Elizabeth Volkenrath, The evidence against her was overwhelming. Survivor after survivor identified her. The dog, the beatings, the selections. She was convicted, sentenced to death. On the 13th of December 1945, Britain's chief executioner, Albert Pierrepoint, came to Hamelin prison. He later wrote of Borman, "She limped down the corridor looking old and haggard. She was trembling as she was put on the scales. In German, she said, 'I have my feelings.' Then she was hanged." What do you do with a story like Johanna Bormann's? She wasn't young. She wasn't ideologically driven. Not visibly, not vocally. She joined for the salary. She stayed because she was good at it. And somewhere between the kitchen at Lichtenberg and the bloodied ground at Auschwitz, she became something that no salary could explain. How she had her feelings, she said. The women her dog tore apart had feelings too.